Good morning, it's Lianne Phillipson, and here I am in Sprout Right headquarters, and this morning I want to share with you more about what on earth sound therapy is. So if you're on sproutright.com and you're in the consultation page, there's mention of treatment or my consultation process, including sound therapy. Now, this is something that I got into in 2013. During that year, I learned 3 different methods of testing because I got to a point in my practice where, we get so many results. We'd get people healed, their guts sorted out, and all of those kind of things. And then what happened is people would plateau and they get a little bit stuck. So I knew that I needed to dig a little bit deeper, still understanding that seeing your doctor or naturopath or anybody else is a really important thing to do. But I really wanted a way to get in deeper and figure out what's going on. Like, where did this come from? Because our health is a little bit like, kind of like dominoes. When one thing happens, it influences another thing, and then it just kind of keeps on going on. So to track back and to get a little bit more into how someone became to the place with the symptoms, everything that's going on for them the way that they did, then that's what I wanted to dig deeper into. So I did auricular medicine, which is a method using the energetic field, the ear, the different points on the ear, which the ear actually looks a little bit like the foot in reflexology, or your hand in reflexology. And the auricular medicine was really interesting. I also did a year-long program to learn how to use an EAV, or more of a computer type program. And then I landed on this really unique way of testing, and it's called sound therapy. It's also now called holosonics. There is a British osteopath who started, Dr. Peter Goldman, who started all of this, and then trained, or one of his Peter is my instructor. Jeff Montague-Smith is, Peter is his mentor, Jeff is my mentor. So all of this gets passed down. So we get together quite often to go through and update and learn new things about sound therapy. So let me introduce you to my set of tuning forks. So it's in a bit of a wobbly case, but I'll just show you. So this is my set of tuning forks. All of these ones here that you can see, these are all steel tuning forks. These came from Switzerland, and they're also called the octave. So these are, more musically tuned. Well, they're all musically tuned, but these ones, you hear the different notes. They're very specific notes. And then these ones here, and then I've got my little guys tucked in. Let me just take them out. These aluminum ones, which look quite different, are the ones that I use for balancing as well, and also testing. So these two are my are the ones that I use the most. These are my, let's call it diagnosing, but really what I'm doing is I'm looking for energetic imbalances. So these two I use on everyone to check and find any dissonance, we call it, within the body. And when I find dissonance, that means that something is out of balance. Doesn't necessarily mean that there are cancer cells popping up. Doesn't necessarily mean that someone's about to have a heart attack. It just means on an energetic level that there is an imbalance in some way. It can be emotional. It can be physical. It can be an old scar. It could be an old wound. It could be something that parents pass down. The possibilities are endless. And in order to balance this, I don't need to know what it is. You don't need to know when I'm treating you what the imbalance is. The most important thing is that we hear it. It's audible when there's an imbalance, and then we can balance that. So these ones are very audible, these two forks. So this is my high C, this little guy here, and then this is my G. So these two I use, and I bring them to your body, and then I check to see where there's an imbalance. And you can hear it, and I can hear it. It's really quite amazing. These two are called the perfect fifth, these two big guys. So this sound, kids and babies absolutely love the sounds. They just lay back and relax. All the children that I've ever treated with cerebral palsy or any developmental disorders absolutely love this. They just soak it in and take it in. We are vibrational beings. I was at a concert last night, and when you're in that environment, or you're in the car, or you've got music playing, you can feel it in your heart. You can feel the vibration of the music in your cells. We are just one big bag of vibration. So sound affects us. If you hear a really loud sound, it makes you startle and makes you jump. If you hear quiet and, sort of like a river flowing and things like that, it's more soothing and relaxing. So sound is a part of us. The vibration is a part of us absolutely everywhere. So in using these different forks and the way that I go through my consultation process, then I will check to see if I find some dissonance. Then I'll check to see which of the octave, which of the set of the steel tuning forks I need, or your body needs, to balance. And then I whack it on my knee, and then you might be able to actually see it vibrating here. Let's see if we can. Not quite. Maybe if we got up really close, you could see that it was vibrating. Anyway, so this is really only audible when you put it to your ear. So your body takes that in, and then I will actually bring this onto the body so that your body takes in the vibration as well, which is absolutely phenomenal. And it just sort of tickles a little bit. It doesn't really feel like anything in particular. So throughout, why do this? Why bother with this kind of, alternative therapy, alternative way of treating? Well, our bodies need to be in a state of what's called right spin. We need to have the right nutrients in the cells, the right nutrients out of the cells. And when our body is in right spin, it's able to detoxify, it's able to drain things out of our system, and it's also able to heal and keep us in balance. Now, balance comes in so many different ways, of being emotionally balanced, nutritionally balanced from eating really great foods and having all the nutrients that we need, being able to digest, absorb, and assimilate all of that you're eating. And also, you need balance sort of mentally. You need all the right nutrients going on throughout the brain. You need the gut environment to be super healthy with amazing nutrients and good bacteria and all of those kind of things. So there's so many aspects to us actually being in balance that it's pretty mind-blowing. And what I love about the sound therapy is that it just simplifies everything, because we're just using the forks. We hear when there is something a little bit off, there's a little bit of a wobble to the sound, and then we balance very simply with one of the steel forks. There's also two forks called the angel tuners, which get in a little bit deeper. So let's say you had surgery on your knee and there's still a little bit of something when people say, I broke my leg or this or that, there's a scar in there. So that scar holds on to emotions. So the fear that you felt when you had the operation, or you broke the limb, or you cut yourself, or whatever that was, that is an energetic signature that gets stuck in there. Not to say that you didn't heal well, but when we use the vibration and the sound therapy, then we can help to disperse that and ease that, and just ease that tension, whatever we're holding on to and don't know that it's there, so we don't know that we want to let go of it or that we need to let go of it. So this is not like going through a huge therapeutic process. It's just the vibration brings us back into balance. And when our bodies are in balance, then we can heal, we feel better, we sleep better, everything is better. Now, the other really interesting thing that I do with the sound therapy, a little bit like muscle testing, kinesiology, the EAV testing, auricular testing, is also that I'm using these two forks. Again, these what I call my more diagnosing forks, and it's just from an energetic standpoint. I'm not taking the place of your doctor or anyone like that. And then I have test kits of different products. So this one is from Physica. These are all the Physica remedies, which I absolutely adore. You can see some of them in the sunshine over this shoulder here. So this is a test kit of all of their remedies. There's lots of them in there. And what I do is I scan over them and see which ones are appropriate or ones that give a different sound. When they give a different sound, then there's something vibrationally there. And then I bring those onto the body and then I test to see. Now, in the same way, I can do food sensitivity testing. So I've had lots of people lately actually saying, okay, this is what, I need to go and have that food sensitivity test done. It's really expensive. Well, once we've done some balancing and we've got you on a protocol, we've changed your diet and things are maybe your second appointment with me in one of the consultation packages that I offer, then we can go through these 150 foods. I also have people that bring in foods. I can't even fit this into the screen. Well, I can if I chop myself out. I have people that bring in specific foods. There was one little guy that I treated who had terrible constipation, and his mom bought in 2 different types of milk, both organic, just 2 different brands. And what tested out for him was one brand suited him energetically and the other one did not. So he carried on drinking his milk, but just stuck to that brand that resonated, that was an energetic match for him, and changed his diet. We had him on some supplements, some biocell salts and some minerals, just to keep him in right spin all the time. If you think about right spin, it's like it's clockwise. We want to always be spinning in that way. Everything in our bodies wants to be in that place, ideally. It's like, kind of paddling upstream if you're in left spin, and that's just not a great place to be. So kept him in right spin and everything, detoxifying and working through his system. And then probably within about 3 or 4 weeks, his constipation had eased dramatically. So we really got into that quickly by going through the sound therapy process. I do find that the tuning forks, especially in babies and kids, and adults too, with gut stuff and constipation and diarrhea and bugs and all that kind of stuff, is absolutely phenomenal. It just is crazy what comes up. So as I'm going through the remedy testing process, I ask everybody to bring in whatever it is that they're taking. Some people bring in their huge bags, and I take this one sometimes and this one sometimes, and I'll test them all, and I'll test them and see if they're an energetic match to where you're at right now. Very often I go through probably 6 different probiotics per person to see which one energetically resonates. Sometimes babies need, a product with 25 billion beneficial bacteria, or CFU, going into them every day because they've had antibiotics at a particular time in their life. Mom had antibiotics while she was in labor, or there's been a lot of dairy going in the early days. So we just need to balance that gut bacteria. Whereas sometimes if you just went and bought one off the shelf at Shoppers Drug Mart or anywhere like that, you've got 10 million CFUs going in there, and that's really not enough for that child at that time. There's immune challenges going on. No matter what the situation is, we can balance that on an energetic level, find out what will help to keep you in balance with the remedies, removing any particular foods that are not sitting with you well in terms of food sensitivity, and then we just keep on moving and going forward. So sound therapy really is sort of a part of our lives anyway. So this is just more of a concentrated way of using different notes through the octave, A, D, C, all the different, I sound like I'm talking about vitamins, all the different notes within the octave. And amazingly, it helps to balance the body. And I think while I've been working with sound therapy over the past 5 years, is what I find blows me away the most is that the remedies and the nutrients and the vitamins and the homeopathics and whatever it is that I'm testing that come up is really not necessarily something that I would have said, yes, you need this. Yes, you need an Artemisia because there's a bug in your belly and we need to do this, without doing, a $400, $500 stool test. So I find that it just jumps through these hoops of questions that we've got going on. And then just like our health is and how we feel is kind of like the layers is a little bit like an onion when you think about it. And we're just peeling those layers off until we get down to that core where there is such tremendous balance. And life happens all the time. Things come up, knock people out, we'll get people back in again. So it's, you know, it's an ongoing process. This is not something you need to do forever. However, when we get in deeper, when we figure out what is that emotional scar in there, what is that physical scar, and how is that affecting that particular meridian line. So a lot like traditional Chinese medicine or acupuncture, we're working with just energetically balancing the whole body, whereas it's not like, oh, I've got a sore elbow, so my sore elbow is the cause of something else and everything's attached to everything else. So it just brings it back to, I know what we're dealing with right here. And when we get it balanced, when we get ourselves balanced, then that's when things start to fall into place. So that's just a really quick synopsis, well, 20-minute synopsis on sound therapy. I have treated hundreds of people with the sound therapy and the tuning forks. And there are a few other people around that do this method, not really in Toronto as far as I know. I've got colleagues out west, more sort of in the Calgary area. There are actually, you know what, there are some colleagues in Toronto that have done the sound course. So what am I talking about? They've even used their tuning forks on me. So there are colleagues in Toronto that also work with sound therapy, but in a different way. They've adopted it and they use their sound therapy as a part of their balancing treatment in slightly different ways. And then I really wanted to figure out what is it that you need? Do you need a vitamin D? Do you need a vitamin D and K2? That one looks like it's pretty, or that one I think is cheaper. Which one though? Because there's so many options out there. So this just keeps it really nice and tight. And by the end, you have a protocol of what is needed for you. What is needed for you to stay in balance. And that's my goal, is to help you to figure out through our discussion in my consultation, through the session of sound therapy as well, is to figure out what's going on, get you balanced so that you can go back out into the world and be your best self. Thank you for tuning in live. If you've been on this video with me, just kind of checking out what has she got to say, what is all of this, or maybe you're interested in sound therapy and you're watching this afterwards, feel free to reach out through spiritright.com. You can get to us on info@spiritright.com and through all of our social media channels if you have any other questions. And on spiritright.com, you can find out a bit more information about the consultation packages if this is something that you would like to try out and see if this is a way for you to treat yourself and to care for whatever situation it is that you've got going on, with working with your doctor, with working with your physiotherapist, with working with whoever it is that you've got on your team of healthcare professionals. So thanks very much for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you in another couple of weeks, and we'll talk about something else then. If there's something you want us to talk about or want me to talk about in a Facebook Live or more, please just send us a message. Thanks so much and have a great day.